What's good? What's good? What's going on, everybody? How y'all feel, man? It's another great night, man. It's a Thursday night, man. I'm not gonna be too long with y'all tonight. I just wanted to stop by, check in for those of y'all that don't know who I am, and you already know, man. It's your man Clarence Brown, host of the Male Translations podcast, author, speaker. Come and talk to me, the Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. Author, man, you can grab that at relationshiphealing.co as well as Amazon. Come and talk to me, the Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. But we're not going to get into all of that, all those particulars, but I did want to check in for another Thursday Night Live, man. I want to say what's happening to everybody that's out there on TikTok, what's happening to everybody that's out there on Facebook. Like I said, I'm not going to be too long with y'all tonight because the Bucks game is on. All right. For some of y'all, that's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But for me, being from Tampa, it's a big deal. So, I got to go show my love and support, man, and make sure that we come out with the victory. But tonight I wanted to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. I speak to a lot of people and, we always having great conversations, and I love to talk to people. I love to share my opinion, love to share my perspective and kind of like, hear other people out as well, because I like to be enlightened as well. I don't know. I'm a learner, man. I'm a sponge for knowledge. And so, I'm a big audiobook person. I love to read, but I just love to absorb information. So talking to people is a great way to do that. And in some of these conversations, man, people are really, really strong with their positions, really, really strong with, where their viewpoint is and everything like that. And that's cool because I myself have my own opinions and things that, for me, feel strongly about as well. So I understand it. But tonight I wanted to kind of chop up how to make a man change for you, and so having conversations with people online and people in person. One of the biggest things is having people have experiences that seem to mimic themselves and repeat themselves. And a lot of ladies talk about us men in a negative way because we don't want to change, that we don't want to boss up, we don't want to level up, we don't want to get our stuff together, right? So as a man, I try to defend us as best as I can and really enlighten women on what is going on inside our minds. And so I started a page, Facebook, y'all already know. If some of y'all might be already on right now on that group page, Inside a Man's Mind, that's my page on Facebook. And so I know a lot of y'all might be into that, and what goes into a man's mind. Those are the things I try to tackle. Those are the things I try to touch on. And sometimes it may be offensive. Sometimes some of the stuff for some people might not be everybody cup of tea, but that's cool because to me that starts a conversation. Even if it triggers you, even if it's something that makes you remember a certain experience or remember something that might have happened in your life, then all of a sudden now it's like, well, you know what? Nah, that's not how I see it. This is how it happened for me. Well, that's fine. But those conversations need to be had. And sometimes it's just based upon a question being asked or a statement being made or a post being posted. And then all of a sudden you got everybody in, they like Twitter fingers, everybody like going in on the Facebook, on the Instagram, whatever. And so, I want to chop it up. What makes a man change for you? Right. So speaking to women, just kind of talking about some of the things that as a man I dealt with and knowing that, what makes a man change. We can all say, hey, listen, ain't nothing really can make a person change. It's up to them. Right. But I do think I agree with that. First of all, I agree, it's nothing that a woman can do that's really going to make a man change his mindset from what it may already be. But I think there's ways to kind of incentivize or motivate him or, really get him to understand what it is that he may be either overlooking, what he may be missing, or, what he may not be valuing. Right. So for me personally, I can speak to my own experiences in the same way I speak to, some of the experiences with people that I come in contact with and have these conversations with. And I tell them just like my story. Right. So I'm going to tell y'all my story in terms of what made me change for my wife, because I oftentimes say, hey, I'm not the man today that I was when I met my wife. Right. But when I did meet her, it was a few things that happened that actually, hey, what's happening? Let me see. I can't say it right. If I say it wrong, I don't know. I don't want you to get mad at me. I want to say it's Maka Selzia. Listen, shout out to you on Instagram. I mean, not Instagram, but on TikTok right now. I'm going live on TikTok, Facebook. But my own story where, you know, I was a different Clarence, right? So just for some of y'all that don't know, I'm married now, right? But I was been married since 2012, right? So that's 9 years. But I met my wife in 2008, 2009, like the end of 2008, beginning of 2007. I got to be honest, because if she sees this, she's gonna be like, "It was in 2008. It just took you a whole month to call me." My wife, listen. Y'all know my wife. She always gets on me. Anytime I put her on, I let her come on the platform and, you know, we join together and do a live or something like that. She always condemn me for waiting a whole month, maybe a month and a half to call her. And I told her, I say, hey, listen, you know, I apologize, but at the same time, you got to realize back in that day, like it was all about, you know, getting as many numbers and, you know, getting as many females' attention as you could. And that night when I met you, I got 6 other women's number that night. You know, not to be bragging and boasting, but like when you a single person, you mingling and you out and about and you interacting with different people, a lot of times you're able to get contact with them, which I was able to get contact with them. And sometimes you forget who is who. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, think of it what you want, but I'm to be completely transparent. Like it was like you start to numbers and faces start to blend, and you be like, I don't want to call the wrong one, and I really like this one over here. And she was like really bad. And so it took me a month to call her. But anyway, once we started dating, things was going good. But she started to expose some stuff about me I ain't really know about myself. I hadn't already observed about myself. So when she first mentioned this to me, as far as one of the flaws that I had in myself, I really at the time I wasn't ready to hear it and I wasn't ready to accept it. Right. But as we have our conversations as a married couple, now looking back on those times, we had a conversation where, you know, I was telling her, we was talking about some other couples. And, you know, I was saying, hey, listen, you know, a man gonna do what he wants to do. He gonna do what he feels like is the right thing to do. And the only thing that's gonna make him change is a few things. And so I looked and I reflected back on what made me change for her in the moments where she was telling me some stuff I wasn't really even trying to hear at the time. Right. And so one of the main things that I told her, I said, hey, listen, if I did not see value in you, it wouldn't have been nothing you would have told me that was going to make me change who I was. Right. If I did not see value in you, there's nothing you could have said that would have made me change who I was. And I'm saying for a third time, if I did not see value in you, there's nothing you could have said that would have made me change who I felt I was at the time. Right. And so this whole breakdown to get to that point was, you know, it was a couple things that I was doing. Like example, you know, I would go out and I would go get food. I would go get things and I wouldn't call her. I wouldn't see if she needed anything. Right. And in my mind, because I had been single for so long and I had been successfully single, meaning it wasn't in my mind about keeping a woman. It was about, hey, getting them and getting what I could get out of them. Right. Now, fault me if you must, but just to be honest, man, it just being real. I was at a place in my life where I felt like I had been, I was done wrong. You know what I mean? I was hurt. I was in my core, in my chest, in my soul. I felt like, man, a chick that I was dealing with before, she did a player dirty. You know what I mean? I was really giving her everything I could give her. I was really trying to bring everything that she needed and more for her and her kids and everything like that. And we was having plans to move on and take it to another level. And all of a sudden, she just poof, fell off the face of the earth. It was kind of like a foreshadowing, though. It was a little bit like, it was a few things that I noticed that was like weird to me. Number one being that she didn't want to kiss anymore. Like I was like, you know, and for me, I'm a person that one of my love languages, I like signs of affection. So I like to, I like to touch, I like to feel, I like to kiss, I like to experience the whole physical thing. So for her to say, yeah, you know what, I'm not really a big fan of kissing anymore. Like, I just want to kind of like, we cool and stuff like that. Now I'm young. So when she told me this, I kind of had reservations about it, but I ain't really want to be too like sensitive about it. So I thought like me being upset by her saying, yeah, I don't really want to kiss like that. I was like, word, oh, okay, what? And so half of me was like, man, bro, this is some foolishness. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm your man. We've been together, this and that. Where you getting to with I don't want to kiss like that no more, right? But looking back on it as a man, being more mature and being more experienced, it was like, yo, that was some bull crap, right? But it was a foreshadowing to, I guess, what ended up actually happening, where she kind of just ghosted me out of nowhere, right? So long story short, I'm in a place in my mind where I'm saying to myself, well, I ain't really trying to invest any of myself in, as far as my heart, into any woman no more, right? So I knew I could, attract a woman. I'm not the best finest guy, but I'm fake decent. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I can attract a woman. I can get a woman, no doubt. But when I get them now, I'm not going to be looking to try to be, this sweet guy, chivalrous guy, doing all of these things. Nah, I'm not with that. It's straight about Clarence at that time. So fast forward, then I meet my wife. Things started clicking, and questions I was asking, the statements that, the time we were spending together, we were starting to notice a lot of compatibility, a lot of things that we both saw eye to eye on, which was good for me because it was a change of pace in dating, because I wasn't the guy I felt like wanted to go super long and spend all of my money on one, and go broke trying to figure out if I even like this person. Why? Because at the time, that's how, things was. It was like, hey, listen, you know what? We hang out, we kick it, we go out to a couple places, this and that. But for me being a single man, I was trying to guard not only my heart, but also my resources. Because I'm saying to myself, well, hey, if this don't go well, then, I'm out in the cold, and I got to rebuild my financial, war chest. I gotta fill up my wallet again before I can even entertain anybody. And so I'm like, man, I'm trying to watch that based upon how things go. So I'm doing things like going out to eat, not calling her to see if she want anything. I'm doing things like, hey, well, just not checking up on her well-being, because I'm like, that's on her to worry about. And for me, I got to worry about myself. So I'm just trying to put y'all in the frame of mind where I was at the time, due to how everything was transpiring in my life at the time. And so I'm saying to myself, and at the time I was about 22, 23. All right. So it wasn't like I was, super, advanced or experienced or old, but I'm at this point in my life where I'm like, I was hurt in my heart. I felt a certain type of way. And now I'm like, this is how I'm gonna play the game. So when I get to this point, and I'm with my wife, and I'm telling her, why should I be calling you? Like, that don't make sense. Like, if I'm hungry, then I'm hungry. So I'm just gonna get something to eat. I didn't know I had to. And these basic things weren't even in my mind. I wasn't even. So imagine where it comes to a man with a woman that he's with, that he has love for, but doesn't really know how to show love. Doesn't really know, how to express that love. Like, you got to understand, like, for some people, it's just like in your mind, you don't even know that you're doing anything wrong, because for all the things that you've been shown, for all the things that you've been taught, this is normal. So at the time, I'm saying to myself, it's normal for me to be hungry, go get something to eat, come home, eat it, right? But now I have a girlfriend who's at my home, at my place. Now it's like, okay, well, she's saying, well, at least you should call and check up on me, even if I don't need anything. And I'm like, that's not normal. That's not normal. If you're hungry, you go get something to eat. And if I'm hungry, I go, you see what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, and other things that was going on where I really wasn't thinking about her, I really wasn't understanding how she was coming and what she was feeling, I was just like tuning it out. And she said something to me. She's like, man, one thing I noticed about you, Clarence, is you real selfish. You are really, really selfish. Now, why is this important? Because at the time I was living with a roommate, one of my closest road dogs from high school. We came up together, and now we are young men trying to survive, trying to make it through. And so now we roommates. You know what I mean? You want to always be with somebody that you trust, right? So he was a guy that I trusted, and we was doing the roommate thing. He had his side of the an apartment. He had his own bathroom, everything. I had my room. I had my own apartment. We shared the living room, the kitchen. And this is important because before she had told me this, he had told me this, right? And I forget what conversation we was having. And he was like, man, Clarence, you selfish as hell, bro. I was like, no, I'm not. He's like, yeah, you are. You are real selfish, right? So I took that in mind. Now, this is one of my close road dogs. This is my buddy. This is my dog. This is my partner, right? So I didn't take it too hard when he told me that I was selfish. So now fast forward to the conversation with my wife, and she's like, one thing about you is you're selfish. And I'm like, man, I just in my mind, I wasn't gonna tell her this. Now, mama ain't raised no fool. I wasn't gonna tell her that my partner, my bro, had just told me this like a week ago, and now she's telling me the same thing he told me. And I'm saying, at the time, I'm saying I didn't, if my dude is like my brother just told me this, and down now my lady is telling me this, maybe there's some truth to it, right? But the thing about it is that still wasn't gonna make me change. Right? What made me change wasn't the fact that she told me that I was selfish, and another brother of mine told me that I was selfish at the time. So what did make me change was seeing again the value in her, what she was bringing to my life, how she was making me feel, how she was always seemed to be in my corner. She was my biggest cheerleader. She was always supportive of me, right? And this is before we got married, right? These are the things that I noticed just along the way, just kind of peeping our dating, our interaction, our relationship. And I'm saying, man, you know what? Like, she's really down for me, right? But when it came to things that came to things that was critical of who I was and trying to get me to change for the betterment of the relationship, for the betterment of myself and her, okay, she felt it was necessary to identify and speak to what the things that was flawed that she didn't like, right? And this happens every day in relationships. We may become critical of our partner, not always to put them down. It's not even always, it's sometimes never to put them down. But at the same time, it's received like it's an insult. It's just received like it's degrading because the mindset and the place where that person is at the time makes them feel like what you're saying is something that's offensive. Right. And so for me at the time, when I didn't want to hear that I was selfish and I had some flaws that I needed to deal with to be better for her, I'm like, man, you know what? Like, I don't really want to hear that like that. Think of it what you want. Like, I was hungry. I did me, whatever. You feel the type of way. And in my mind and at the time, in my state of mind, I'm saying, well, I mean, it is what it is. So I kind of let it be that. I left it at that. Like, it is what it is until I recognize how much that mentality of it is what it is, so what, so be it, how that was affecting her and how that was affecting our relationship. And that was big because, like I said, before her saying this, I already recognized the value she was bringing to my life. The value being the support that she was giving me. The value of being that person that I can really talk to, and she was really supportive of me. The value in the fact that we had a strong bond, not only chemistry, but we thought alike. We had the same type of compatibility. We had the same outlook on certain things. We had the same religious beliefs, things like that, to where it was like, okay, well, this could really be something, right? So before even hearing that, Clarence, you need to change this part of you. Like, this is a big deal because this gonna really get in between the two of us if you can't understand that sometimes, like, I want to be felt like I'm protected. I want to be felt like I'm provided for, and that it's not a problem, that it's actually a priority of yours. And when I don't see that, that's an issue with me. I need you to understand that. And at the time, I'm like, man, I can't understand that because that, in my mind, is not normal, right? To most people, these things in a relationship seem normal, but I want to make y'all understand that for a lot of people, you gotta really pick their brain to understand if their background and their upbringing affects their mentality and outlook to a point where some of the things that you're saying don't even seem normal to them. You know what I mean? And so to me, for me to be so gratuitous and so charitable and just so kind in certain ways, even as I'm dating as a man, for what seemed to be normal for most women, for me as a man, it was like, man, I can't even, I don't even see how you think like this, right? On some of the simplest things. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm saying to myself, what am I going to do, right? Because now I'm starting to see my response and reaction to being told I'm selfish and being told there's things that I can work on, like me basically saying, man, it is what it is, do whatever you feel, like how that was affecting her and how that was affecting our relationship, right? When she would basically kind of shut down, when she would basically be, really quiet and just kind of, not have that same energy, right? And be more reserved and just kind of, I'm here, but it's like, right? And so I could see that, right? I could see that type of energy building where I'm like, all right, hold on, okay, before it gets too bad, all right, let me really think about this and really see what areas I can improve upon. Because what she's saying is like, this ain't nothing. Like, bro, you really, you kind of, you selfish. And if you don't see that you selfish, then there's nothing I can do to make things better between us two, right? And so in my mind, I'm like, well, you should like, I don't like, you know how sometimes when somebody tell you something and you trying to think of any reason why in your mind that they wrong for saying that, right? Even if it has some truth to it, right? That was me at that moment. I'm trying to find a way to get mad, to turn it around and twist it around. Like, nah, no, it ain't even like that. Like, hold up, like, and because right is not normal, but at the same time, I don't want it to seem like I just am so unreasonable to the point where it's like, even when told this, I'm gonna tell you, no, I'm not. Okay, so boom. I say that all to say that when it comes to relationships, what can make a man change for you is he has to, number one, in my opinion, see the value in you, right? See the value in you and what you bring to his life. Now, even before that, you gotta bring value to his life already, right? And that doesn't mean what you think the value that you're bringing to his life is, but asking him and seeing what you can do or what you are doing that brings value to his life. All right. What does that mean? That means that, hey, if it's something that, he really enjoys and you consistently do it, that brings value to his life, right? If it's something that he feels that you're not doing that you could do, when he says, hey, these are the things that I feel like, you could improve upon. Like, I always see you giving more to your friends. I always see you giving more to your job. But yet when it comes to me, I get the rest. I get the leftovers. I get the pieces. Don't get mad at him because he sees that and he feels that way, right? If it's important to you, it should be important to change those things to make him happy. If he, is a value in your mind. So I'm saying to myself, okay, cool. I recognize that you support me. I recognize that you in my corner. I recognize that you pray for me, that you laugh with me, that you cry with me, whatever the case may be. Okay. So let me not see this as just, it ain't nothing, because of course I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose this, right? You ever felt like that where it's like, a person may be in their feelings and you really don't want to agree, but even while not agreeing, you kind of be like, well, I don't really want to, hold up now, don't go, let's figure this thing out, right? So that's kind of where I was at, where I'm like, don't go, let's figure this thing out, even though in my mind, in a lot of ways, I can't process it like you process it, but I'm gonna try, right? And sometimes that effort is the effort that is taken in order to make steps toward growth and change. And so that just comes behind seeing value in that person and what they bring to your life. And I say that because not everybody is going to see value in you, right? Not everybody is going to recognize what value you bring to their life. And this is a big deal because what happens a lot of times, especially with ladies, y'all see the situations where a man is a certain type of way with you, and all the things that you try to get him to be and all the potential that you trying to pull out of him to actually bring to fruition, it just seems like pulling teeth, right? But then all of a sudden, once you guys separate and y'all break it off, you may, somewhere down the line see him and find and you find it strange and odd how he doing all the things for this next person that you couldn't get him to do. It was almost like you could have put a gun to his head and he wouldn't have changed for you. But now he's moved on with somebody else, and so it seems like it can be offensive, it could be hurtful, it could be it could be a try in your mind, right? And in a lot of our minds, it's like, well, listen, if you had all of this, why couldn't you do it back then, back when we were together? You know what I mean? And what ends up happening is, a lot of times that person either isn't ready at the time mentally or maturity wise, or that person doesn't see value in what you bring to their life, right? So it was a little bit of both going on with me, where mentally and maturity wise, I was behind the eight ball, and I was saying to myself, some of the things that I should be doing as a man, I had no idea I should be doing, because in my mind, this is not what I had been shown. I had been shown, hey, listen, you be smooth to it, you get a number, you talk good to it, everything that things, one thing lead to another. And then from that point, it's really on y'all what y'all want to do from there, right? And if things don't work out, then hey, so be it. She move on, you move on, and then the game continues. So now when it comes to this situation where I'm with my wife, it's like, well, I don't want to lose what I have just because of where I am. If that makes sense. I don't want to lose have you ever been like that? Well, I don't want to lose you, even though right now I'm not really ready to accept all the things that you're telling me. They say too much light dull the soul. So it's like you done gave me too much light on myself, magnifying some of my flaws. And that's really kind of, messing with my mind right now. But all well and good, all things considered, I just don't want to lose you right now. Just kind of hold on. Let me figure this out. And so that's where I was. But yet again, after recognizing that, I'm saying, okay, well, my dog just told me the same thing. Somebody that I love and I hold near and dear to my heart. And shout out to Bobby OG, man, by OG Bobby Johnson, man. That's my bro. We call him Bobby OG. But anyway, that was my guy, roommate at the time. He was telling me, Clarence, man, you got to work on this, dog. You got to work on this, because it was some things between us as friends where I wasn't able to see where I was being more selfish and self-serving than I should have been at the time. And that was good for him to have told me. A good friend gonna tell you. People say, hey, if you really my friend, you're gonna accept me the way I am. That's not true. A good friend is going to help you become who he sees or who she sees you really are. And that means in a positive way. So if that person sees that you can be better, you can do better, a good friend is going to tell you, hey, man, you got to step it up. Or, hey, in this area right here, you slipping, dog. Or hey, sis, in this area, you do be kind of tripping sometime, and how your mouth get, right? A real friend is going to tell you those things and not hold back from you the things that can help you really evolve and really grow to be a better person, right? So my dog had told me this already, and I took stock into that. I put it in the back of my mind, and now she unlocked it again with saying the same statement. It's like, wow, I don't like it, I got to accept it. And because I see the value in what you bring to my life and how you treat me, how how our relationship is operating, I see the value in that and don't want to lose that. I'm willing to make concessions. I'm willing to make changes. I'm willing to do all of these things, adjustments, to make this work. And what I'm saying, y'all, is when it comes to how you can make a man change for you, again, you can't change nobody's mind. You really can't change who they are. But what you can do is address the things that need to be worked on in a way where it's encouraging. You need, like I said earlier, even if it's not up to you to change them, it's things that you can do to inspire them to change, right? And with all of those efforts being made, it's with the intent to make things work. So do it encouragingly, right? Does that make sense? Do it encouragingly, instead of just saying, well, I said what I said, and he got mad, and see, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's not the message, it's the delivery, right? You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not the message, it's the delivery, right? Sometimes a person will go above and beyond if you give a message in a certain type of way to where it inspires them, it lights a fire under them, as opposed to you poking at them by telling them all the things they need to work on and how they ain't crap and how this is a problem. And every time you look around, they doing the same thing. That's not motivating. That's degrading. That's putting the person down, making them feel like that, they're not acceptable, that they're not on they don't have a lot of these things working in their favor, and that's just something that they're never going to be able to change, right? And so all I'm saying is, when it comes to how you get a person to change, see those flaws, highlight them, or shine light on them, should I say. But while doing that, just make sure that you do it in an encouraging way, right? And number two, ask the questions of, hey, what things you feel like bring value to your life? What can I do to be more of an asset to you? Right? Because when it comes to relationships, we don't often know how a person may need to be poured into, right? So when it comes to how you can be an asset to them, asking those questions is a big deal, and it means a lot, because that makes a person feel like, okay, you really do care, right? So now if it be something to where you know, you can actually bring more value or do things in a way that individually benefits them, then now you're onto something for them. Now that can really change things in a relationship, right? And so if you don't ask those questions, you also won't even know if you bring value at all to that person's life anyway, right? Because most of the time, if you ask a certain type of question like this for the person that doesn't see value in what you bring to the table, they may have some generalized like one-off statement that really don't really hold too much weight, where it's kind of like, hey, well, you know what things can I do to be better in your life? And it's almost like, nah, I mean, you know, you good, right? And it's kind of like one of them, like, I don't really know. That's because, hey, they either don't see value in what you bring to the table, or they're not in a place from a maturity or experience point in their life where they can really identify what things they need. And that is a problem, because if they don't even know what they need, then it's going to be hard for you to serve them or be a benefit to them in any way, because now they're still looking, they're still searching, right? And what you don't want is a person searching and then you giving them something and they don't see value, because they think that, well, this other thing right here is what I really wanted, and then now it's switching and it's changing like the weather. Nah, you need to find out. You need to ask those questions. Hey, what is it that I can do for you? What do you need? What is it that you feel like I can improve upon? What areas of growth do I need to have for us to grow together? And really, really seek those answers and see what can be done, what isn't being done, what things are being withheld, what things are being noticed that can be adjusted and changed. If, you know, if it matters to you, if you feel like that person matters to you enough, then ask those questions and really, truly listen to what they have to say, right? And so for me, as I said before, my wife, you know what I mean? She's my wife now, but at the time she was my girlfriend, and I had no real commitment to her that made me have to stay with her based upon what she said. So when she gave me that critical advice and when she gave me that critical observation, I could easily be like, man, it is what it is. Do what you're going to do. If you're going to leave, if you feel like this is something that ain't going to be right for you, then that's fine with me, because because I don't see the value in it, I'm willing to let it go. But because I did see the value in it, then now my mindset says, okay, well, how can I change to make this relationship grow and keep this thing going, right? And so this is why I wanted to come on here real quick and say, hey, ladies, true indeed, you can't change a man, right? You know, K. Michelle, you can't raise a man. You can't change a man neither, right? But at the same time, what you can do is do things to incentivize his change and growth and adjustments for you. And first starts with what he sees as benefit to his life out of you. It's what he sees you bringing benefit and becoming an asset to his life. How that's building. And the thing that's you know, the scariest, I know, for a lot of y'all is you know, you fear that's going to be taken advantage of. You feel like it's going to be in vain, and all you done this before, and you know he's still going to cheat. He's going to be what he's going to be. Okay, great. Well, you never know unless you try, right? That's just like a person saying, "Oh, you'll never win the lotto," but they never played. Now, I don't play the lotto, but I'm just saying you can only win unless you're in the game, right? You can only win when you're in the game. So if you are not even caring about doing any of these things, don't think that success is right around the corner for you. Because it's not, right? Because, hey, if you don't even see it to be something that works, or you don't even see it to be something worthy of trying, then you'll never know the results of it either way. So how are you even gonna make a point to stand on to say, oh, it ain't gonna work out, and you know it don't work like that? Well, everybody different. What didn't work for one person may work for another person, and when it's the right person, you'll see the difference and change of how these type of interactions transpire. This is how I knew for my wife that she was the one for me, even before being met with some of the things that I needed to change in the areas of growth I had to have. Because why? I'm saying to myself, well, man, so many things have transpired so easily, so many interactions between me and her have gone so smoothly, where with other people it had not. So I'm saying to myself, well, hold on, you know, I feel like this is worth working for and changing and adjusting for. And so I say that to say that, hey, if you can encourage your partner, if you can really speak life into them, if you can really get out of them what they feel like the value you bring to their life is, if you can get what areas they see that, you know, they may have been holding back, how they felt about it, and now they can truly be transparent and honest and say, okay, well, if, you know, not to offend or insult you, but this right here just doesn't work for me. If you truly listen to those things and hear what they're saying, there can be a great relationship on the other side of that. But too many people want the smooth road without going through some of the rocky roads to get there. So it's smooth sailing on one side, but you got to get through the waves before you get to that smooth sailing, right? And so these are the type of things that you got to work through and understand that, hey, some of these conversations are going to determine where you go from there. Some of these conversations are going to determine if y'all are really willing to do the work to make it to the next level. And if that is something that works for the two of you, if that is something that y'all are willing to do, then it's gonna be a green light for both of y'all, and it's gonna be great between the two of you. And I just want for everybody out there to have that great situation, have that great relationship. And it's too many people that feel like it's just not even possible when it is, but you haven't given it enough effort. You haven't put in enough effort. You haven't really truly been vulnerable enough to say, hey, even if it doesn't go in my favor, I'm going to give it my all and I'm going to try. Right. And some of these things, these tips, this advice, and, some of these things that we're saying, and it's not just me, but other people mention the same ways of how you can be successful. If you don't even try them, then you'll never know if they really work. You just out here, you just want somebody to give you a pity party. You ain't even really tried it. You ain't even put it into motion. And so when you say, oh, it just don't work, and, I done this before, and, I'm not going to be done. I'm not going to be taken advantage of again. It's like, well, you done got out of the game in your mind. You done already checked out. And at that point, it's hard for people to be on your side when you already done checked out. Right. So all I want to say, like I said, I just wanted to pop in real quick on this Thursday Night Live and really just say, hey, man, listen. How you can get a person to change for you, how you can get a man to change for you, he has to see that value in you. You got to know if he sees value in you, ladies. And if he doesn't, then it's going to be hard pressed for you to get that man to change. No matter what you do, no matter how much money you give him, no matter how much sex you give him, no matter how much, support that you give him, no matter how much you're in that man's corner. If he sees it as, yeah, all right, cool, that's great. Now who else I can get to be in that space for me? Then you're not gonna know. You're really gonna be put in a position where, yeah, you are gonna be taken advantage of. So I'm just saying the steps that I'm saying, the things that I'm offering as a solution, just try them. Just try them. I promise they'll work for you if you have the courage and conviction to just take the step to ask, take the step to inquire, take the step to know and figure things out. Because if you don't, you're really just gonna be walking blind. You'll be the blind leading the blind. That's all that's gonna be. The blind leading the blind. And that's where a lot of people get messed up in relationships because they felt like the time was wasted, while in time you never even put forth an effort to say, hey, I want to know these things that's going to make a difference long term. And I need to see how you react, how you respond. What do you say to these things? Because I'm not going to be wasting my time. So for me, when I recognize that, hey, my wife was seeing some of our interactions and recognizing that with the flaws that she had mentioned to me that I can improve upon, had I just said, you know what, I'm good, whatever, you can have it, then she might have moved on and I might have lost the blessing that I have in my life today. And so she made me change, but that was only because I saw the value in her before it came time for me to change. As we moved in our relationship, things happened to where it was like I really had to make changes myself in order for this to happen, in order for us to grow and have this smooth sailing type of relationship, right? And so I'm just telling y'all that that's possible as well. I'm telling you, if you really can put it in your mind to make it work, you know what I mean? Like you got to see it before you see it, or you'll never see it. All right, I'm gonna say it again. You got to see it before you see it, or you'll never see it. Don't tell me about what's not possible. Don't tell me about what won't happen and how things won't materialize. If you don't see it, you'll never see it, right? So you got to see it before you see it, or you'll never see it. And I'm out. And that's all I got to say, man. How can you change a man? It's encouraging him, incentivizing him, bringing value to his life, but also making sure that he sees the value in you before it gets to a point where y'all can't hold on no more. Y'all can't hang on together anymore, because that means that the time was wasted because you didn't know that person all the while didn't even see the value in what you was bringing to the table. All right, I'm out. I want to real quick for y'all Facebookers out there, really want to make y'all know, man, go ahead and grab. We got a melanated and loving it shirts, man. Listen, these are for all of my melanated folks of all shades. I want y'all to be able to rock these shirts and also be comfortable while being snazzy, jazzy, classy. You know what I mean? And we're not only in black. These shirts are not only in black. This whole slogan, melanated and loving it. You know, God put this on me and my wife, and we came up with a design. This is something simple, but at the same time, it stands out and it really speaks volumes to let people know that, hey, listen, this is what I'm about. So I want y'all to go ahead and show that love and support. I got a little ad for y'all I want to put in, and then I'm gonna be out. Everybody that's on TikTok, man, see y'all on another time on another live. Until we meet again, I see you on the other side. So a lot of y'all been asking, hey, Clarence, man, where I get the t-shirts from, bro? I want to get a melanated and loving t-shirt, and here's the answer. You can go to the website, man, relationshiphealing.co. That's not .com, that's .co. All right, listen, I came up with this design with my wife, of course, because we are black folks, man. So I want you to be able to celebrate the skin that you in, not be ashamed of who you are, not be afraid to celebrate your essence, man, your background. And so I need you to grab a t-shirt, because like I say, man, they going fast. A lot of people have been showing love and support. I want to make sure I show gratitude to y'all. Shout out to y'all that have already gotten a t-shirt. But if you want to grab one for yourself, it's not just in black now, man. Listen, we doing it big, so I was able to get them in pink, blue, white, black, you dig what I'm saying? So I need y'all love and support like y'all already been doing, and grab a melanated and loving t-shirt for yourself. You can go to relationshiphealing.co to grab that, all right? Appreciate the love and support. Thanks, y'all. Holla.